Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Today we're going to do a Should You Pull guide on Strago FR, and then talk about who the mystery character is going to be here. I think we've pretty much got it down after my last video, and once we saw that Renoa came, I think that pretty much brings it down to who we know that this character is going to be. So the mystery character should be Gabranth here, so I'm predicting this banner to be Strago, Gabranth, and a Middeltelian. So I'm going to talk about each of these characters, and if I think you should pull on them or not. Ash BT will also be here as well, so if you're still chasing Ash, that could be a reason to go in on these banners, right? So Middeltelian, honestly, they're a character that I never really use in the party anymore. They're pretty much relegated to being a call character. They're really cool. They can, like, if you want to massively delete turns, that's really what their specialty is. They do a lot of debuffing and turn deletion, but a Middeltelian is one of the better calls in the game, so if you want to try to pull to get the call, it is a good call. I do find myself using it less and less, though. I'm leaning more towards stuff like Raijin and Rydia these days than I am a Middeltelian, but if you want an on-demand, like, turn deletion call, I mean, this is really the one to grab, right? But other than that, I feel like in the party, a Middeltelian's damage is not really good enough. They don't really do enough auras and things for the party. They're not really going to be a great thing that helps your party unless you're really focused on turn deletion and you're trying to do a shutout, but a lot of enemies and bosses will negate that, right? The other thing with a Middeltelian is they are a gravity-based character, so if you like gravity, Brave Shaving, I mean, that's another reason to go for them, but I really don't think a Middeltelian's that great right now, especially in the party. But once again, there's some value, I'd say, as a call. Then we have Gabranth, who I'm predicting to be the extra BTFR character here. Gabranth is solid, like, definitely very good, and he can do, like, really good damage, right? And he is, like, a debuff specialist. The thing is I don't see him as a top-tier damage character right now, but he is a very good debuffer, so if you want a very good debuffing character, I mean, his debuffs, he's kind of a tank in a way, because he does give the party, like, brave damage reduction, which is good, and with all of the debuffs, I mean, he'll make the enemies, like, a lot weaker, and it will kind of protect your party that way as well, right? So I guess you could consider Gabranth kind of like a pseudo tank slash DPS slash debuffer. Like he's got a bunch of roles, right? I believe he's also got instant break too in his kit, so he's got some things there, right? He's a cool character, but is he like a top tier meta? Probably not, right? And then if we look at Strago, and I hate to say this because I'm a huge Final Fantasy VI fan, but I've never been a fan of Strago's kit. He's one of those characters, he kind of reminds me of Twins a little bit, where if you put this guy in like a 3-target fight, he's going to be outputting some massive damage. But if you go to 2-target, then he's like okay, and if you put him single target, he's basically hard to use. Because his big thing is he has a buff that makes it so all of his attacks trigger twice, and his big attacks will do like full AoE damage, right? So his damage looks really, really good in AoE fights. But you have to make sure you're upkeeping his buffs. He's non-elemental, so you could enchant him for what you want to enchant him for. But he's very one-dimensional. He's just big AoE damage, multiple attacks. His auras aren't the craziest. He doesn't really have a lot of utility for the party. I guess the only utility that he has is that he has like a instant break attack, but it's called level 2 death. So it's based on the enemies having an even number brave. So it's even kind of situational. Now, most of the time, even brave is probably what they'll have, because when they brave gain or cap out at brave, it's going to be an even number. So usually that's fine. But there's so many other characters that can instant break that do a lot more for the party and things like that, right? So I'm just not a huge fan of Strago. I feel like he's probably the weakest FR character this month, to be honest. We'll do a character guide on him, though, after he drops and get his reworks. Maybe his damage will really impress me. But the way I see it now, I really don't. To me, this is probably one of the most skippable banners of the entire month, in my opinion, because I'm not too enthralled with any of these characters. Like, Strago is outclassed by other DPSs that are doing a lot more things. Like, I feel like Penello's going to outdamage this guy, except for maybe a 3-target fight. Like, Strago might be the king there. But, like, there's so few situations where you're going to want to use Strago that even if you love him and you get the best out of him, and here's the thing. Strago is a character that can look really good, but you have to, like, fully support him and, like, lean into what he's doing, right? So if you say bring a character like Ash, who's going to EX charge, because I feel like one of his best attacks is his EX attack. So if you're going to, like, constantly, like, EX ramp this guy and then give him, like, really heavy, like, HP damage up supports, like, sure, he can look really good in an AoE fight. But once again, even if you love him and you fully build him up, there's going to be fights, like single target fights, where this guy's just not going to look very good. And I would rather invest, if I'm going to invest my materials, especially if I'm going to like blue armor, go for an FR, I want to invest a character I'm going to use a lot. And Strago is not a character I'm going to use a lot. Now, if he's a favorite for you, sure, go ahead and build him up. You'll definitely get some use out of him. He's a very good character, right? Gabranth, I mean, Gabranth is very cool, right? Like, there is some value in him as a debuffer. I do think he does do a lot to, like, reduce enemy brave damage and, like, keep your party safe. But once again, I think there are tanks that maybe do, like, his job better than him. But he's got some damage to back up what he's doing. But, like, for me, it's like, I got Gladio. It's like, I could just ride Gladio as my main tank. I've got so many tanks, too. Like, I'm also speaking from a veteran player with a large roster. I would say, though, even as a new player, are these the pieces you want to, like, be building your main roster right now? I mean, probably not, because there's better stuff out there. Like, I kind of like Ashe better than all of these characters. Obviously, we just had Penelo. If you got Penelo, like, she's crazy, right? Renoa, I like better as a damage dealer over, say, like, Strago. In a Mediterranean, I think it's relegated to just being a call at this point, and I don't even find myself using a Mediterranean that much, so I'm going to just say that this is probably an outright skip for most players. But once again, if any of these are your favorite, definitely go for them. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're going to pull. I'm definitely 100% skipping, especially if you guys saw my Ashe pulls. I ate through a lot of material, so I'm not going to waste a single material on this. Maybe if I get lucky and get Strago's FR, like on a free pull, I may just invest it for the showcase. We'll see, but I'm not going to pull any tickets, I think, for Strago's FR. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. We'll catch you all on the next one.